Despite losing both legs, the surgeon continues to perform better than before. Moreover, his bilateral amputation made him a celebrity. He was shortlisted as an astronaut for a space mission. An inspirational story, right? But not anymore. Today, we are not just talking about a case, we are performing a psychological autopsy on one of our own. A respected vascular surgeon who did unthinkable. He didn't just harm himself, he used his surgical knowledge to do it with precision. He is now in prison. Who was this surgeon? Why did he do it? And how many others are there like him? Most importantly, what can we learn from this case? I'm Dr. Uttam Shiralkar. I'm a surgeon and psychiatrist based in the UK. In all my professional years, I have never seen a case so clearly highlighting the dangerous blind spots we as a surgeon carry. This case is so different that it has become a media sensation. But in addition to knowing what this interesting case is, we will see what we can learn from it. So let's meet the man who is at the center of this storm. Have you heard of Mr. Neil Hopper before? Until recently, he was a picture of success. A respected vascular surgeon in Cornwall, south of England. A loving wife and 2 young children. A career many of us would envy. Then, in 2019, tragedy strikes, or so the story went. He returns from a family camping trip and falls ill. It turns out to be a bacterial infection. The sepsis affects his legs and gangrene sets in both feet. The end result? An emergency below-knee amputation of both legs in the hospital where he works. The procedure he, as a surgeon, had performed on many patients. Therefore, he saw the things from the other side of the scalpel. But here is where the story gets interesting. How difficult was it for him to adjust with the life after amputation? Not at all. He rose like a phoenix. He was fitted with a bionic legs and became more active than before, became a media celebrity and gave interviews to various TV channels including BBC. He became a national inspiration. He spoke about his life-changing opportunity after losing both legs. He was even shortlisted as the first disabled astronaut for a space mission. All this sounds like a movie, right? The heroic surgeon who overcame personal tragedy to reach for the stars. But there was a problem. Most of it was not true. So what really happened? Last week, Mr. Neil Hopper, the inspirational para-astronaut candidate, was jailed for 2 years. And the reason? Fraud. It was found out that the story of camping trip after which he got sepsis was all lie. The gangrene wasn't the result of an infection. It was self-inflicted. And how did he do it? With a block of dry ice. You may know, dry ice is not made up of water. It is frozen carbon dioxide. It sits at rather a chilly temperature of minus 70 degrees. Touch it just for a few seconds and you will get a nasty frostbite. Mr. Hopper, using his clinical knowledge, applied that dry ice to his own legs so perfectly that the resulting injury was irreversible. He essentially gave himself a bilateral below-knee amputation with the same precision he might use while operating. He then went on to his own hospital, making sure that his colleagues would have no choice but to amputate his both legs. You may still wonder why anyone could do that. The common thing comes to mind is money, isn't it? He did claim and receive nearly £500,000. He spent on it on a fancy car and other luxurious items. But he didn't take all the hassle for the money. It was just a secondary gain. The main reason was far more complex and frankly, far more scary. So, why would a successful surgeon do this? This wasn't an impulsive act. This was, in his own words, a long-standing desire, and he carefully planned it for months. Neil Hopper suffered from a rare and deeply disturbing condition called as body dysphoria. Imagine looking at your own hand or foot or any body part and feeling that it doesn't belong to you, that it's an unwanted attachment causing you persistent, intolerable distress. That's body dysphoria. For Hopper, his feet were an obsession, an error in his own body that he felt obliged to correct. His dislike to his own body was so severe that he paid to watch videos on a website run by a person called Marius Gustafsson. I won't go into details of the things Marius used to do. His nickname, Eunuch Maker, is enough of an indication. Still, how did Neil Hopper get caught? It so happened that the website owner, Marius Gustafsson, was caught by the police and sentenced to life imprisonment. Police found Hopper's secrets in Gustafsson's phone. That's how he got caught. So, the story ends here. Surgeon Neil Hopper goes to jail. But for us, this is where lesson begins. I can hear you saying, okay, bizarre but a fascinating story. This person was clearly unwell. But what has this to do with me? And you are right. Body dysphoria is exceptionally rare. But what about the underlying problem? The thing that allowed this to happen? That is quite common in our profession. You may wonder, what am I talking about? I'm talking about the utter and complete lack of insight. There is a lack of acknowledgement of the issues and the importance regarding surgeons' mindset. The fact is, Mr. Hopper worked in the UK's NHS. He was surrounded by colleagues and a system which is designed to support doctors' well-being. Yet, his serious psychological distress went completely unnoticed. Or more likely, he was a master at concealing it. Instead of using his position to rectify the issue, he exploited it to harm himself. Another thing to notice is Hopper's self-harm was visible and sudden. But there are many others whose self-harm is not so obvious and it is gradual. Think about this. After this news broke, every patient who had undergone amputation by Mr. Hopper is now wondering if his surgery was appropriate.